Alright, hello everyone. Welcome to Snowy's Game Dev Daily number 4. I'm gonna quickly test my chat, which will just write test. Hey, my chat boxes work. Awesome. Don't mind me. I was actually just seeing... I need to figure out some scene transition hotkeys, but for the time being, that's fine. See, and if I pop over to this tab, you can still see the chat message, and it kind of just chills here. And I don't know how long it chills there for. Okay, I don't know. It hangs around a lot longer than this one. Must be because it like loads it later. I don't know. Anyway, not a big deal. Okay. So, this is all good. Alright, what's on the agenda today? I guess that's what I should go over. Okay, so I was thinking about what I wanted to do before kicking off this session, and I kind of came to the conclusion that I think a good, nice, achievable thing I can do this session, or at least start doing, maybe we'll finish it off in tomorrow's daily. I want to try and flesh out some really basic levels, just in terms of terrain and whatnot, and maybe we'll add some sprites that aren't just this. So I will think about that as well. It does stretch the sprite, which is fine. But yeah, I think that's what we're gonna do. I'm kind of happy to start with that. So maybe let's actually make some sprites and just toss them into the editor and see if we can actually make some levels with them. I'm kind of feeling like that's what I want to do. Now, for the game that I'm building, I don't really want to go off a tile-based system. A lot of Metroidvanias, especially pixel-based games, will go off of tile sets, and you kind of have tile-based geometry. I don't really want to do that. And in that vein, I kind of see it more as I'd be custom making all the environment sprites and whatnot. And I mean that'll come way down the line, but all that means is that I'm going to custom build some of these platforms in Unity. I'll set up different platforms and whatnot, and you can resize them and yada yada yada. So I think that's how I intend to do it. Now, for the time being, I'm just going to make a basic platform or ground sprite, and I'll make a basic, I guess a wall is what I'm going to use more or less. And I want to have the player be able to kind of jump around in a sort of arena style thing. So that's going to be my goal, and we might scatter some dummies around the arena, and you know, that'll be what we're trying to do today. The other thing is we want to try and set the camera to follow the player around the map. That's not too difficult. So we should be able to get that working pretty easily. In fact, I think I can do that in the editor right now. So I might try that. So in Unity, we'll see we have this camera right in the middle of the screen, and this represents what we actually see on the game screen. Now, you'll see we also have this text up here in the top left. Now, this is part of this canvas, which contains this text. It's kind of like this canvas is the UI, or the HUD, basically. It's the HUD for the screen. And I believe this canvas is assigned to the camera, if I'm remembering, but maybe it's not. What happens if I drag the camera around? Can I even do that? So what I want to do is I want to put the camera, I think I can just drag it inside the player component. I can totally do that, which is kind of neat. And now what we want to have happen is we want this. Oh, here we go. The camera has a canvas. And that should correspond to... Oh, I've dragged the wrong thing. Hold on. Canvas is this render mode screen space camera. Okay. So all this tells us is that the canvas renders inside the camera display. And now the camera, I think... Oh, can I move this? It lets me resize it, but that's not what I want to do. I can, like, literally move it. Yeah, so I can move it. I don't know why... I gotta remember what my Unity hotkeys are. W? Yeah, okay. So this is the transform. So we can drag the camera around, and if I would, like, drag it over here and start the game, in fact, if I go to the game screen, we can see the camera's panned off to the side. Now, what we actually want to do is we want to have the camera track the player. And typically the camera or the player is centered in the middle of the screen and more towards the bottom because, you know, in typical platformer fashion, you mostly want to see what's above you more than what's below you. You know, if you've ever played any Mario game ever, you know that Mario typically doesn't sit smack bang center in the screen. And honestly, I think that's something that's, like, worth taking a look at. Because, you know, like let's actually pull up some different 2D platformers. So, Mario Bros. If I pull up this, for example, I can just drop it into Paint for us so we can see it down here. Where are we? So we can see here, right, that our, you know, the player characters are, like, more towards the bottom center. Let me just get this working. Ugh, let me use a darker green. It's a bit easier to see. So, like, okay, the camera here, I mean, in this instance, right, we're centered on, like, we're actually, because it's co-op, we're looking at 3 different characters. But we can see that the ground is in, like, the bottom quarter, right? So if the player was sitting on the pipe here, and, like, let's say it was only Toad, you'd probably still see a similar section of the screen. In fact, I think in this particular instance, there is no verticality to this level. And a lot of Mario games work like this. There is no verticality to them. Like, you can't go up and down. Not all levels. Some Mario levels, especially in the newer games, you can go, like, down and up. Sure, it happens in older games like Mario Bros. 3 or whatever as well, but typically a lot of levels will just be flat, and the camera won't pan up and down at all in either direction. So basically, most 2D platformer games, it's very common for you to have enemies that, you know, are flying up in the air up here. Like, this is all, like, loads of space you can use for aerial enemies, or just platforms, as it turns out. Putting platforms in your platform is pretty standard. Like, you can see here, like, you know, we could be standing on top of this platform, and then we are basically kind of center of the screen, right? Like, we're pretty close to being centered. But what you don't tend to see as much in 2D platformers is enemies that are under the ground. Like, that's just not as common. Now, what are games that kind of break this mold, right? And the first one that immediately comes to mind, because it has a lot of verticality, and especially going downwards, is Terraria. Terraria, the player is pretty much, I think it is always smack bang center of the screen. And the reason for that is pretty simple. In Terraria, you can mine downwards. There are enemies that burrow through the ground or just simply exist below you because there's places for them to be below you. And because you're as likely to encounter enemies below you as above you, in fact, in Terraria, it's probably more common for you to be going downwards than to be going up. Your player character takes up the center of the screen. So rather than my player existing like down the bottom here, like kind of like in this section, like this is where we would see, like, you know, if we were playing a Mario game, this is where Mario would be. He'd be like down here. But in Terraria, we are literally smack bang in the center. We're right here. I don't know why I drew a stick figure. I can just circle the character, right? Our character's right here. Now for Mage, I definitely see it more along the traditional 2D platformer lines of there will definitely be some element of verticality, and it's possible that you would change the elevation of the camera or the elevation of the player in the camera, depending on the environment that the player's in. But for the most part, I would expect the player to be kind of towards the bottom. So having said that, if we hop back to Unity now, what I want to do is, step one, let's try and get the camera to follow the player. I think that's the first thing we should try to do. So I'm going to stick the camera inside the player object, and then I'm going to give it an XY of 0, 0. And I believe what this should do, hopefully, is make it so that when I run the game, our camera is following the player at the center of the screen. We did it. Good thing to see I'm not that washed, and I do actually somewhat know how to use Unity for really basic things. Now, this would be like the Terraria POV, right? The camera is literally following my player, and I can see equal distance around my player in every direction. Now, I want to kind of follow more of the Mario, Hollow Knight, Metroid kind of angle. In fact, I'm going to look up Super Metroid now, because I feel like in Metroid, it has a decent amount of verticality as well, but I feel like the players typically... Okay, Super Metroid's actually way more zoomed in than I thought. It's been a little while since I've played it, which I'll pull this up now. So the player is definitely a bit more towards the bottom of the screen than the top. Like if I were to draw a line straight through the middle here, it's closest to like, probably like this is about the center. So the player is definitely towards the center more than they are towards the bottom, but they are further to the bottom of the screen for kind of the same reasons that I illustrated before, which is just, you know, you're going to have a lot more aerial enemies than you are going to have enemies below you. Although, that being said, in this very specific image that I brought up right here, there is an enemy below us, as it turns out. And that's kind of why I had to, like, second guess myself, because I was like, is Super Metroid... Like, you tend to go down a decent amount in this game. And if you're going downwards, you want to be able to see below you to some extent. The whole point of the camera is you want the player to feel like they can always see what's coming and that they're never going to be caught off guard by something that feels unfair, right? And another mechanic you'll see in basically... most, if not all, 2D platformer games is you can hold a direction. Like, if you hold down for long enough, the camera will pan down to show you what's beneath you. And the same thing if you look up in some games as well. I think in this instance, Super Metroid doesn't do that, but it is something that I feel like was kind of picked up on in newer 2D platformers and is pretty widely used. I don't think Hollow Knight uses it either, but a lot of games do use it. So I guess it just comes down to how much you feel the player is going to benefit from. Actually, I lied. Hollow Knight does have it. Because absolutely Hollow Knight has it, because you can use it to look down through Hive. Like, I mean, the Hive... Anyway, this is completely random segue. Well, not segue, it's a tangent. When you're playing Randomizer in Hollow Knight, and you're attempting to do Hive Knight, right? Because there's one check behind Hive Knight. You can actually look down before you start the Hive Knight fight, pan the camera down to view the rewards. Doesn't actually show you the reward, but it'll show you if it's a regular pickup or if it's a soul totem, and if it's a soul totem, you can just skip the check. So, Hollow Knight you can pan down. Anyway, moving on. That's your fun Hollow Knight fact. Where were we? Okay, so we have attached the camera to the player. That's cool. However, I want to bring the camera up a little bit, basically. Is all this is coming down to. So I gave it a Y of 2, and it's way further up than I thought. Oh, okay. So in my head, one of these squares was a unit, but in reality, it's one of these squares is a unit. Which is a bit interesting, because it means I'm working in decimals. I feel like I should probably be working on this scale. I guess I'll leave it for now. It doesn't really make a difference. It's just... that might be something I change later, in which case I just have to update factors by 10 later on. We might do that later this stream if I feel like it. But regardless, it just means that rather than moving the camera up by 2, I actually want to move it up by 0.2. And that's going to move it a bit above the player. I feel like I probably want to be a bit more, maybe double that. It's a bit too much. 0.3 is probably about the sweet spot. And here we're like right on the quarter line. So if I start the game here, the camera is going to follow. It's going to track the player. Yeah, this is kind of decent. Now, an issue that I'm immediately seeing here is that when I jump, the camera is following me, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but something you do notice here is that at a full height jump, we actually cannot see the ground anymore. And that's probably not something that we actually want. How do games typically combat this? I think a lot of games lock the vertical height of the camera until you hit a vertical segment. Otherwise, the camera stays at a set height. I'm actually so curious now, and I kind of want to just boot up Hollow Knight. I'm going to do it, because, I mean, this is the whole point, right? You look at other games to figure out how your current game works. what the current practices are. Like, I couldn't even tell you. All I know is that if I jump in Hollow Knight, I expect that I can still see the floor. Like, this feels wrong to me, that I can jump here. Hold on. Where are we? Let me close that. It feels wrong to me that I can jump here and the floor just disappears. Like, that doesn't seem right. Something I might also do as well, debating how much I want to do it. I'm thinking about cropping out some of this stuff. But I kind of want to show the whole Unity screen, so maybe I won't. It's not that bad. It's just a bit small. I think it's just because I'm looking at a windowed view. Let me do this and take a look. Yeah, it's not that bad. Okay, we booted up Hollow Knight. It's quite loud. That's fine. Surely I have a Hollow Knight scene I can use. Not this one, not this one. Oh, you know what? These ones are not going to work that well. Okay, I'm just going to pull up this. My camera's not here. That is what it is. I'll hop into just some random save. And all I'm going to do is check what happens when I jump. Now, this is what I was saying, that I think, yeah, in most areas that don't have any verticality, you can see that the height of the camera is locked. It actually just doesn't move at all. However, what happens... oh yeah, interestingly, my Hollow Knight has loaded in widescreen, which is not what I want, but that's fine. It kind of breaks the UI a little bit. I'll fix that later. So what happens if I go to like King Station? So if I go to King Station, we have like vertical segments in here, which we'll see in a second. Okay, and you can see like right here, the camera's locked, and the moment I walk here, the camera pans down, and now the play's in the center of the screen. So that's definitely not something that I've really paid much attention to. And it looks like it only really locks at the entrance to King Station, which is kind of interesting. It locks up here, but that's just because the camera can't go any higher. But if I go to this point in the map, I can't move the camera at all. I mean, technically I can if I jump into the roof, but I mean, you could adjust that it doesn't do that. If I come down here, I can still raise the camera. It's not immediate though, like I kind of, if I just short hop, the camera doesn't move, but if I jump up a bit. And then as well, the camera kind of has like an eased scrolling, which is like really interesting. So this kind of stuff I can definitely do, but it's a lot more, there's a lot more complexity to it than I initially realized. And in fact, I think something that's really interesting is that the camera doesn't scroll at all until you jump until you're like halfway up your jump. And I don't know if that's because there's a delay to the camera scrolling. I don't think it is. I think there's like literally a height you have to be off the ground. Like here, the camera's in free movement. And again, it kind of plays catch up with the character a bit. It's actually really interesting. Like here it's pretty much tracking me. It doesn't track me instantly off the ground, does it? Maybe it does. Oh, it's so weird. Like here I'm like not centered, right? I'm like a little under. But when I jump in the air, I feel like I'm definitely centered here. Oh, that's super... I definitely need to like look at Hollow Knight a bit more to decide like... Because I feel like there's a lot to be learned from that, for sure. It's really interesting. Kind of like just how dynamic the camera movement is. Because it's not something you really even think about until you're thinking about it. But it kind of feels a lot more jarring when the camera, like look at how like my character like doesn't move at all basically. Whereas in Hollow Knight there is a bit of like fluid, not fluidness. How do you really explain that? I don't know. It's interesting. It's interesting though. I probably want to... I feel like camera tracking the player is something that I could definitely do a lot of work on. And clearly Team Cherry has done a lot of work on it, and I haven't really gotten to appreciate it until right now. I'm like, holy crap, there's actually a decent amount of work done there. Now, for the time being, actually, what I am going to do is I'm just going to move the camera down a little bit. Because this is too high. I definitely do want to be able to see the platform. So I think for the time being, even that's too high. We'll just do 0.1. So we're going to be a little under the center, but not by a whole lot. So this is kind of close to like this Super Metroid position. How come? I swear I jumped higher on the first jump. I swear sometimes I'm jumping higher than others. Ooh, what causes that? I don't even know. Some jumps definitely go higher. This is not something that I've like really looked at before. But like, see how that jump, like I'm holding down the spacebar in all of these. Like that one got all the way to the top of the platform. And that one doesn't even get like halfway through it. That one's like halfway. The other one doesn't even get to it. Oh, the variable jump height here is interesting. And probably something I need to look at. I definitely want the jump height to be consistent. So it's something to do with how my code is set up. Would it be tied to the frame rate at all? I don't think so. Well, actually, I moved the jump into the fixed update now. So I think it definitely isn't. Unless it is. Alright, time to pull the code up. Everyone's favorite. In fact, I don't know why, but OBS doesn't like Visual Studio for some reason. You kind of have to keep resetting it. Let's just close all our tabs and open up the player. So I wanted to take a look at where I'm doing the jump stuff. So first of all, where are we actually doing this? It's in check inputs, I'm pretty sure. See, now this is the problemo. Because it's not tied to... Yeah. That's annoying. So we're checking inputs here, but the actual jump physics needs to happen. I'm doing it here as well, right? Like a lot of this check input stuff. So I should be checking my inputs in the update function. But if I'm actually doing any physics based off the inputs, it needs to happen in the fixed update. So that's something we need to update as well. We might work on this. So I don't have to worry about the spell stuff. That's all fine. And you basically just need a boolean that just says, are we pressing jump, right? Can I not just put this in the fixed update? Like, what's the issue with me putting it in here? Why? I gotta remember why I didn't have this here before. Because it's because sometimes it wasn't picking up my inputs. Because I would press the jump button and it just wouldn't jump. And when I put it in the regular update, it does pick it up always. So yeah, it might come down to like I need to check inputs, I need to like toggle values. I'll think about how that needs to happen later. It's gonna be a little annoying if I have to set this up. But yeah, like currently the side effects of this means that like I have logic that's doing like this movement logic, right, is running based on frame rate. It's not running based off the fixed update, which is definitely not what I want. I feel like it's weird that this is even being affected, but it definitely is. There's definitely a convenient solution to this that I'll need to look into. Anyway, I'm gonna not worry about this too much for now. I'll just leave it as is. Our jump height's gonna be a little iffy, but other than that, and yeah, our movement at the moment is kind of tied to our frame rate a little bit, which is not great. But that's what I got for now. So okay. What do I want to do? Right, I want to do some sprites. So let's just do some sprites. That's pretty easy. I kind of don't want to... I don't really want to mess with the canvas size, but I guess I'm going to have to. Because I'm just going to make some really basic sprites in MS Paint. Now let me quickly check. I'm using 16 by 8. Okay, I just have to remember what I need to go back to. Okay, so for our ground sprite, I'm going to make it about this wide. And we can stretch it and shrink it. I'm not too fussed. So what I'm going to do is just use a basic brown. That is not dark enough. So let's make it a little darker. Let's go like... Yeah, it's... What brown do we want to use for dirt, for a floor? I think this brown is fine. And then I kind of just want to add like grass on top, basically. So we're going to, I guess, zoom in a bit. And we're going to work on like just making some really basic grass. So I'm going to do this. We're going to carry it through. Like this. And I'm not worried about too much about making like any actually interesting sprites at the moment. but that's fine. We're just gonna add. Just gonna add some basic color. To the game. Alright, and we can zoom back out and fill a bunch of this in. Oh, that's not going to fill in super great because it's MS Paint, but that's fine. We'll go back over it in a sec. Okay, now let's just touch this up a little bit. I would like to fill in the rest of this, thank you. I feel like if my hand was a little steady, I could probably do this a lot faster, but you know what? Is what it is. And is this going to look any good? I have no idea. It's not too important. Like, for now, I'm happy with it just looking mildly recognizable as floor. And that'll be good enough for me. And I might smooth out this a little bit as well. I'll do a little bit more here. That's not quite what I'm looking for. Bear with me for a moment. Just don't like it looking too flat. That's fine, I'll leave it like that, good enough. Maybe I'll have this dip down a bit more actually. Alright. Caveat, I'm absolutely not a pixel artist, as you can see. My pixel art is extremely rough. But it doesn't particularly matter because I'm not trying to do good pixel art. I need to tidy up the left side. I think I might change this lime green to a bit of a darker, bit more of an intermediary color. In fact, I'll go to this one and I'll just lighten this a bit, like that. We'll use this green instead. Looks does look a lot nicer though, so I will spend the time to quickly go over this. Doesn't need to be perfect, but I do want it to look a little nicer than that. Okay, so the other sprites we're gonna do a we're gonna make a wall sprite, and we're also gonna make a sprite for the wall that the player can actually summon. We'll have that be a little different, just so it's a bit more identifiable, I think, is a good idea. Let me kind of taper this a bit more. I don't know why I'm being so picky about this. It's such a not going to actually be used in the long run sprite. It's so not important, but I want it to look semi-decent. Oh god. I wish I was like half decent at sprite work. Or just art in general, not gonna lie. This has always been probably my least... My worst skill set, I think, when it comes to game development. Mainly just due to lack of any actual practice, though, I think. I've never tried too hard to get good at graphic design. I mean, hey, look, that looks okay. Is it fantastic? No. But I'll take it. It's good enough. You could put that in some crappy platform fighter and it'd look alright. So we're going to save this. What are we going to save it as? Where are we going to put it, actually, is another question. Images, wherever that is here. Mage, ground. I'll call it platform. Let's just call it platform.png. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, and then I should be able to just import this, I think. So we'll close Visual Studio for a second. So if I go to resources and let's just make a sprites folder as well. In fact, do I have a separate sprites folder? No, I don't. Okay. Resources, create folder. I'll call it sprites. And then I'll make another one for another folder in here for scenery platforms. I'll call it scenery. What's a good maybe level. I'll call it scenery for now. I can always change it later anyway. It's fine. Okay. And then in scenery, I'm now going to import a new asset, and it's the one we just made. Ain't that crazy? Pictures, mage. I'm dumping this in. Okay, we have the platform sprite, which you can see down here on the right. My mouse is hovering over it. And I should be able to just come into this platform. In fact, I created a second one. I haven't gotten rid of it. Yeah, delete the extra one. I come in here and I should be able to update this sprite, I'm pretty sure. And I think I can literally click drag it as well. I think if I go here and I do this. Okay, and we can see the sprite is way too goddamn big. And it's super duper wide. You can see the hitbox, which is the size we want it to be. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to scale it to not to 0, to 1. Dummy. Oh, and then it just fits. Okay, I guess that's how that works. Anyway. Okay, so here's our platform. I think it's a little too tall, though. Where's our box collider? Oh, our box collider is super small because I shrank the scale, of course. Now, the platform doesn't actually need a box collider. I don't think. Is there a reason I had one here? Yeah, I did. I did fix the falling through the floor problem, Matt. We had issues with the physics, but they have been resolved. Well, I have more issues with the physics, but that one, the one where we fall through the floor, is resolved, so that's cool. Once I put this floor in, I can show you that we don't fall through it. So let me. I don't think I need this box collider. I'm just gonna turn it off for now. I'm gonna adjust these ones. So this box collider, I'm gonna edit it. I'm going to make it way goddamn bigger because it's heckin' tiny. Now, for this one, this is the ground collider, actually. So I need it to be down here. And I don't really know how big I want it to be. Oh, wait, no. The ground, the one's at the top. What am I talking about? So it's going to be in line with the top of this sprite. And we'll make it like that wide, that thick. That'll do, whatever. It doesn't have to be the whole sprite, basically. And it'll be like that. Good enough. And then we'll take the ceiling one as well. We'll adjust this one too. So what's my... Oh yeah, I can like use hotkeys and stuff because I know how to use Unity, I swear. Okay, I want it to be about that wide. Ooh, that's not what I want. And let's make it this thick. Is that about the same as the ground one? Our ground one's a bit more than that. Like that, probably. And then I'll just pull it. I will pull it to the ground. Ba-ba-ba-bum. Okay, so we have a sprite, and the sprite has both a ceiling collider and a floor collider. Not that the ceiling one's actually going to get used, but the floor collider will definitely be used. And in fact, what I could do is I could copy this and I could put it above. It came for like 15 minutes, me trying to fandangle that other one. Yeah. Yeah, it was an issue, but we resolved it, thankfully. And now I can like drop this a little bit. Like, let's make the floor here, I guess. And then if I play the game, I should fall onto the floor. And hey, what do you know? We have this fancy floor sprite. Ain't that cool? Look at that, and I'm not even falling through it. Ain't that something? We could probably give the player a more interesting sprite as well. And the dummies. Oh, the problem is that the rest of these sprites are going to look so bad. Like, the floor sprite's pretty easy, but... Oh, okay. Alright, God, let's just do it. Let's just do it. Whatever. Okay, player sprite. What do we want to make this look like? Let's go back to the MS Paint scene. How are we going to make the player sprite look? Now, I need to resize the canvas a bit. First of all, actually, I'm going to wipe the canvas. How do I do that? I could just delete the layer, I guess. Okay, so let's make the player... It doesn't have to be, like, anything crazy. I'm going to make the player, like, this sized. I think this size works fine. And I will... I'm going to clear the bottom layer. So, how do I... I guess I'd use the eraser. I can just select all, right? Yeah, Control A and then delete. Okay, that's how you do that. Anything that's going to look bad on the first version? Yes, that's true. So what do we make our player look like? I feel like I should just make it like a square, and then it'll be fine, right? Not like a square, but it's like a little cube guy. Who's completely not animated. So let's use the line tool, because the line tool's cool. And what color should our square be? I want to make it a green. I kind of don't want it to blend, though, with the ground. We can make it a red? No. Let's make it like a light blue, maybe. No, but then... Purple. Alright, we're purple. I might go a little darker than this purple, though. That's a good purple, I think. You knew I'd say green instantly? Oh, that's super... That's really not that legible. Also, why do I have two chat boxes here? Let me, delete that one. Because that looked weird as shit. Alright. There we go. That should be fixed. One moment. Let me grab a drink. And then I'll scroll this canvas up a little bit just so it's a bit easier to see on screen. There we go. Okay. Yeah, I did say green, but I don't want it to blend in with the floor, so we're not going to use green. Now, there's that. How do I make the thing thicker? 8 pixels wide. Sure, I'll run with that. It's still not wide enough, though, I don't think. No, I probably want it to be wider. All right. Anyway, let's just get the edge sorted. Yep, that's good. That needs to be moved over by 1 pixel. Oh no, that still doesn't look good. This one as well? Yeah, there we are. And the bottom one. Okay, also need to move this down by 1. And then I think I'll do it again. So I'll make it 2 of these wide. Like so. This is a really really good way to design a character how I'm doing it right now. Absolutely. So yeah, don't mind me in the fact that this looks it's actually like so horrifically inefficient, but again, I'm not a graphic designer, also I didn't have to do this edge again. Okay. So there's the edge. And then let's fill in the middle, I guess. I kind of want to do like one line up the middle here. We can be like Among Us. Haha, Among Us. In fact, I'll use the pen tool for this. Bum bum bum. Ba-da-dum. Da-da-da-da-dum. Kind of want to use an odd number. And then let's use like this purple. Look at him! And then we'll use a lighter purple. How's this? Probably a bit lighter than that, honestly. And there's our little guy. Purple guy from FNAF. Yeah, that's it. So in my game, you play as the purple guy. And he runs around. Okay, I'm going to run with this. And this is going to be a good test to see if a bunch of my stuff works. Because the hitbox of this character is obviously going to be different than the hitbox of the current thing that I'm using. Save as PNG. Just call this player. Okay. He's just a happy little goober. Fall through the floor rerun. I hope not, but we'll see. Alright, let me hop back into Unity. We just have to import this incredible asset I've just made. And we're going to click on the player, and we're going to drag this onto the sprite. Boop. And it's hella big, and then I'll do this and this. And here's my player. Wowee. Now, things I need to do. My player's too big. I think it's just based on the sprite that I've put in. So we can just scale it a bit smaller. I can make it like 0.5, 0.5, and that's a little better. Yeah, I'd say that's fine for the time being. I'll just run with that. And we'll just edit the box collider so that it fits this. Because currently it's heckin' tiny. That's the wrong thing. I set the box collider. Oh, I have to... Wait, I thought I could adjust this though. Oh. Oh, because this is just a collider component, isn't it? Or something. But this is actually the collider. Okay, anyway, whatever. I can adjust this collider, it's just more of a pain in the ass. So where's the edge of it? Click back on the player, box collider, edit. And it's this tiny ass green thing that you can probably barely see on the stream. Like that. Isn't there like a way to like auto do the collider? I should probably be using that. fact, I bet if I like removed and re-added the collider. Edit collider. Material is trigger. Offsets. Oh, here. Size. 1, 1. Oh, it's still too small though. Is it because I have to make it 1.5 gonna be it? No. But that does work. So it's like 2 point something or other. 2 points. No. It's less than 1. It's like 0.5. Yeah, that looks good. Okay, and then for the Y, 2 again, 3, 4. It's about 3.6. Bit less than that. 5.5. Bit less than that. 5.3. 5.4. I think 5.4 is good. All right, we'll run with that. That looks good enough. Okay, so here's my guy. He's still the player. And if we click play, he's gonna fall. And we now control the little dude. He's just a rectangle, and he smiles, and he can run around and jump. Wow, look at that. I've got real sprites in my game, and that's funny. Okay, and then I guess I'm gonna make these guys, I was gonna say like bats, but I don't even know. I kind of want them to be, should I have them be grounded? Okay, I kind of have an idea what I want to do for them, so let's set that up then. So let's hop back into MS Paint. They're gonna be like little bat type enemies. I guess I can use the same sprite size for them actually. So let me just delete. Oh no. Apparently tabbed into OBS and almost deleted something I didn't want to delete. Okay. So they're gonna be these guys. Now, I wish I could make this bigger than 8 pixels. Is there literally no way I can do that? Because, God, that's annoying. If I do square, it's the same thing. 8 pixels the max. Grumble. Okay, it's fine. I can just do... I should have done this last time, but I'm realizing it now. So I'm gonna have... this little like box, and I guess this will be cool because I'll be able to show how we can like kind of make it so that the hitbox is not the same size as the sprite. So we'll get to demo that as well. Okay, and maybe using black here is not ideal either. Maybe I'll use a slightly off, like a gray. I think it'd be a little better. Yeah, so like that. Okay, and then what we're gonna do, not that, is I want to make a... This is going to be like a little Angie guy. I want to use size. Let's go 16. So he's Angie. Like this. Look at how Angie is. Hold on, I'm gonna make him really Angie. Grrr. He's hella Angie. There we go, I like that. I'm gonna use a bit of a lighter gray to just fill out the rest of it. And he's gonna be suspended in the air, because these are gonna be like little airborne guys. I'm gonna use a much smaller... Let's go... maybe less than that, actually. 4 pixels probably good. And in fact, what I'll do is I'll actually make the 16 is probably too much. I think 8's good. They're going to be suspended in the air by balloons, I think is a cool idea. Now, the question is, what shape, how do you draw a balloon sprite? It's kind of like that, yeah? I think that's fine. And then we'll just draw a couple of them. Like, that's way too much of a point, though. Yeah, I'll work on this. Like that, and then I want a yellow one as well. Where's the yellow one gonna go? I guess I'll do the yellow one over the top. Your typical 3 balloons. No, you know what I'm gonna do? I'll drag these to the right, maybe. And then I'll do a yellow one over here. And is this yellow too bright is the other question. It might be. This might be too bright a yellow. Okay, anyway. We're gonna fill that, and then I'll go over this. There's my yellow balloon. And here's my red balloon. And I'll do the blue balloon last. The red balloon's a bit special. It's a bit lumpy. In fact, I'm gonna kind of smoothen it out a bit. Make it a little less special. Kind of has to go up like that then. And that'll do. And the blue one. Oh my god, my neck. It's not that blue. It's this blue. It's this blue. Okay. Oh, I kind of hate this balloon shape as well. Also, why am I not filling it? Back to the pen tool. I might have to go. I probably have to go over it again with the red. But I kind of hate that shape. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna do this. Oh my god, why does it look so bad? Wait a minute, how do I get this to look like an actual balloon though? Like that? And it kind of has to like go down a bit more, I think. Oh, that was like almost it. I should make my eraser smaller probably. Shave off a bit of this. Yeah, that's good enough. We'll go with that, whatever. Okay, and then I just have to redraw on the red. Like that. The blue could probably use a little more. That's good enough. Okay, I'm not gonna waste more time on this. Okay, and then we're gonna have some tiny little things going up the bottom. I guess I'll pull them all to the one point. Let's make it the same color as the gray that I used. Boop. And boop. And it's gonna be a bit more like that. Boop. Okay, and it's being held up by a bunch of balloons. I might actually... I think I've changed my mind on this. Just gonna make the red one... I'll do the red one first. And then I kind of want these to, like, spring out like that. Maybe a little less. Maybe from, like, here. And then this one can go from, like, there. A bit higher up. Kind of want them to be, like, so they're kind of, like, tangled together a bit. Nah, I changed my mind again. Dude, art's just hard. Okay. There's my guy. So which, does PNG save with transparency, or is it Or is it JPEG? I think PNG. Airborne dummy. I can never remember. I think it's PNG though. Tart monkey, pop this guy. Yes. I mean, if like the player character is effectively just a stick figure, like let's be honest. Look at him. He's pretty much a stick figure. Okay. So now we're going to have the dummy, and I'm going to go to the dummy prefab, which is in here. Oh, I have to actually update these. Okay, can I, if I go player and I drag this over this, it does just override it. That's cool. Okay. Platform over this, platform, awesome. Now we need to update the dummy. So I actually don't want this to be in okay, I'm going to make one for, make a new folder. Call this entities, and we're going to drag player into there. I lost it, it's here. Let's try that again. And we'll add in the new one we just made, the dummy. Now we're about to find out in 2 seconds if this has transparency on it or not. I hope it does. It does not. Okay. In which case, I have to add transparency. I'll try saving it as a different file type. Is it JPEG then? Okay. Let's delete this and add a new one. We'll try getting the JPEG. How do you save with... Oh, this is bothering me. Okay, hold on. 2 seconds. How to save with transparency MS Paint. How do I do it? To save an image, save as and choose PNG. This is the only format MS Paint that supports transparency. I swear to God that's what I did. Why are you lying to me? I swear to God I did that. File, save as, PNG. Is it because I'm using layers? Maybe if I get rid of the layers, it'll work. Okay. It didn't give me the thing where it's like, yo, we have to squish your layers. So I'm hoping that works. It still looks like it. Interesting. MS Paint not saving with transparency. Wait, but this is like, I thought they added it. Huh? Like, if I look at the layers, I can see that it doesn't have that it's transparent. Like, this isn't a white. Hello? MS Paint? Why do you hurt me so? Why you gotta be so rude? Is there like a setting for it? Other format. I mean, I have PNG. It just doesn't, it's just not interested though. MS Paint now has transparency. So how do I save it with the transparency? Like, I know it has layers. So, for example, I can have this be the bottom layer, and I can draw over it like this. Like, look at this. That's the select tool. Look at this. Wow. And then I can hide this layer. Wow. Ain't that crazy? In fact, I can put this layer... It's not... It is white. Wait, what? It fully hid it. Huh? Wait, what the heck? I'm actually so bamboozled. Oh my god, it's there! Wait, it was lying to me. Huh? MS Paint? This is white, you little shit. Do I have a smart select? Transparency selection. Shit, I have to like... Oh my god. I'm beyond tilted. Where's like the bucket select? Okay, there must be a transparency color that I can use, right? Bucket. Except I don't want it to be that, I want it to be transparent. I'm actually so tilted. You have no idea. Game developer learns that MS Paint lied to him all along. There's got to be a freeform. Yeah, it's not what I want. Transparent selections also not doing it. Rectangle. That does nothing for me. I don't want to have to manually go through and erase it all is the thing. MS Paint transparency color. How do I select no color? No, apparently you just can't do that. Lawsuit incoming. Okay, apparently this is not something I can do. So I can manually go through and erase it. Which is like the most tedious shit ever. Like, okay, so I'm on the layer underneath it right now. I can, let me delete everything out of this layer and then paint it black. I don't know how I got white in there to begin with, though. So the layer underneath it now is completely black. So by erasing on the top layer, we can see where I'm making transparency, basically. So I can use the erase tool to just do it. It is a huge pain in the butt. I don't know how much of this I'm going to actually bother to do, because I wasn't planning on doing this. But I'll do some of it. I think I'll just do it like really rough. And if it looks kind of shit, then so be it. I mean, really what I should do is just not use MS Paint to create graphical assets for a video game. Like, it's just an unwise thing to do in general. But here we are. doing exactly that. So I'm gonna kind of have to go around all the edges with a finer eraser than this one. So let's just do that now. Okay, let's make the eraser 3 pixels sounds fine. And then I'll just go over everything. Like so. Get rid of that one. Get rid of these. I can get rid of all this shit. Probably go up this edge as well. Do all that. Okay, you know what I'm actually gonna do? I'm gonna do this way rougher, and I'll just go back over it if I want. Because it'll take too long otherwise. Like, if I want to clean up the balloons, I can do that afterwards. That's fine. I'll just do it way rougher, though. Wonder if it would have just been faster to just, like, make the sprite again. I feel like it wouldn't, but I don't know. Maybe. Alright, we're getting there. I think we'll just make this dummy sprite and then I might call it for tonight. Just did a bit of sprite work and looked at some camera stuff. Although, I don't know, maybe I'll make the wall still. Could make the wall. Didn't actually end up doing exactly what I was thinking I was going to do today. Because I ended up spending way more time doing art than I was expecting. But I mean, hey, nothing wrong with that. And then I think we'll just quickly go back over some of this. So that's that done. I can delete this layer. And then let's just tidy this up and make it look not shit. And if it still doesn't work post this, like if it re-adds the white in, I'll be super tilted, but I'll just accept the fact that that's a limitation of MS Paint at the moment. Which may just be the case. Absolutely could just be the case. I kind of hate how this looks now, I'll be honest. I'm gonna erase a little bit of this. Just redo this middle bit. It's like, it's too chunky here. I kind of want to just redraw it. Pen tool or brush, whatever it is. There we go. I think that looks a lot better. Maybe not the world's greatest, but it's what I'm using for now. Let's fix these up a little bit. I think that'll do. The red one will add up here. And a Bit on the edge. That's fine. Oh yeah, I gotta fix them down here as well. Like that. I should probably fix this blue one here. Cool. And just the yellow one, and we're actually done. We'll be done. If the transparency doesn't work, we'll just admit the fact that we have to use a different program at that point. Which is fine. If that's the case, that's fine. I have other art programs I could use. I just rather use Paint because it's easier and then I don't have to make a new layout for it. Bit on the top. Okay, that's that. File, save as. If this doesn't work, holy crap, I've tried my best. Yes, I would like to replace it. Delete this from Unity, and let's import a new asset. It's not gonna work, is it? I hate this. So I think when I do it, I think Paint still can't, because now when I do this, add a new layer. It seems to think that it's transparent though. Like what is even going on? No, it's definitely transparent in MS Paint now. But it still doesn't save it with transparency. I just don't get it. Like, huh? Huh? So this layer's underneath now, which we can see because I can do this. So the upper layer is definitely transparent at this point. But okay, maybe if I do this again, file save as PNG. Yeah. Alright, actual last attempt and then I'm done. Import this. Yeah, I just hates it. Okay, I don't know. I'll do it in GIMP later. We'll just have it with the with this for now. I'll add the transparency at a later point. Let's do that. And then yeah, it's massive. It does that. I made these like 0.5, so I'll do the same for this. Okay, and then the idea is for these ones that we actually, where's the box collider? Here. All right, I want to edit this collider. I can just do this. 1, not big enough. 2 is not quite big enough. What was it? It was 2.05, right? And then what did I use for the other one? It was 3.55. 3.53. Alright, done. Okay, and now what I want to do is, what I should be able to do is if I go back into the prefabs, I can drag this new dummy over the existing one, and it updates all of them. Wow, would you look at that? Okay, and now we got a bunch of enemies that fly around. Oh, actually, no, I forgot that I actually didn't do this properly. Because what I need to do is come into this box collider. I need to lower it. Because the box collider actually, I only want it to hit the enemy. Unity's doing something. It didn't crash. That's cool. It's still doing something. Please don't crash, Unity. I don't know what it's doing. Hold on, busy. Waiting for Unity's code to finish executing. It didn't like the fact that I was changing the box collider. And now it's stuck. Okay, we're back. am I allowed to edit the box collider, please? Thank you. We're going to make it here. Okay, and then I'm going to drag this, overwrite the dummy prefab, and now they all should have the same box collider, which is just the box portion of the sprite. Okay, and now we can move them around a bit. Now, what I want to quickly do, I'm going to make walls. I'm going to add additional platforms. So, in fact, what we're going to do is going to drag in some additional ones. So I'll have a platform up here, a platform up here. And yes, they're all going to look the same. That's fine. And we're going to have, I guess, one last platform. I'll put up the top. This will be just a floating platform up here. Okay, cool. Nice and simple, right? Now, the last thing we need to do is add in some walls. So let's make that next. Okay, so what is our wall going to look like? It's going to have to be a bit taller than this. I'm probably going to make it twice as tall. Maybe a bit wider as well, actually. I think that's a good size. And then what are we going to make the wall look like? I think I'll just follow the same thing I did before. Where, yeah, we'll just kind of make them similar. So, I think I was using 8 pixels. And then I'll go like this. I think I want to make it reasonably straight for the wall. God, it's so hard to draw effectively with a mouse. Like that. And I want to go fairly straight. So my dude, it's actually impossible. I'm just gonna leave it like that because otherwise I'm gonna be here forever. And then I want to use the same brown I used in this. Which I don't know if I still have. I mean, it should be one of these browns, right? It's just this, isn't it? Yeah, I think that looks correct. Okay. And then we'll, be annoyed by the fact that it doesn't paste over particularly well. Bum, 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 ba-dum, bum, bum. So this is the same brown I was using before. Yeah, so unfortunately the brush that I'm using in MS Paint here kind of fades out on the edges, which is why when we use the fill tool, you just get these thin lines of white, because they're technically not white, they're slightly off-white. Look at this just massive straight line I've done. It kind of tilts me that it's just this huge straight line. And I kind of feel like I should make it a little not straight, just a tad. Yeah, just like that. It doesn't have to be a ton. It just annoys me to see it be completely straight. And we'll maybe just make it light brown on the edges, just to make it simple. I kind of want it to be a little darker than that. Or, hold on, I'll find a good brown in a second. Yeah, okay, something like that I'll do. And we'll go back to the previous brown we were using, which was this one, and once more, go over this. Yeah, it would be nice if it could just do it. Which again, this might just literally be just like, hey, maybe don't use MS Paint for graphic design. You know? Might be a good call to use literally any other piece of software. But it wouldn't be nearly as tedious and amusing now, would it? So here we are. All right, I'm happy with that because I'm not going to put any more effort into it. All right. Wall. And we're going to dump wall in here. I'm going to import it as a sprite. Import new asset, wall. And now I need to make a new prefab for the wall. So the easiest way I can do this is... I can probably just take the... So what do I have on the platform prefab? It's got a box collider and a sprite renderer. Like, that's it, really. Okay, I'm going to copy this. It's giving me platform 4. I'm going to drag these up here. Ooh, that's not where I want them. Ooh, that's not where I want them. Okay, let's just do that. Alright, and now this is the one I'm going to make the wall. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to override this sprite with this sprite. Which is good. The scale I need to scale down, don't I? I have these scaled at 1. I mean, I could leave it like that. Alright, well, let's just get the hitboxes set up first anyway. So I need 2 wall hitboxes. In fact, I guess it really only needs to be 1 hitbox on the wall. Like, the whole thing is just the wall hitbox. Because I don't have a ceiling and a ground. It's just 1 wall hitbox. So let's fix this up then, shall we? Oh, it does have an... Oh, wait, no, it doesn't have an offset. It's just the offset 0. Yeah, okay, I'm dumb. Is it still... What was it, 2.5? That looks pretty good. And the Y is... Oh, it's pretty big. 8? Is it exactly 8? No, it's a bit less. 7.95-ish. That'll do. Okay, so we got walls now. I need to make sure that this is called wall and has layer wall. And in fact, the ground should probably not have layer wall. Should probably have layer floor. Yeah, I'm gonna give this layer floor. Do I have floor? I have ceiling. Okay, I'm just gonna leave that as is then. Tag. The tag is terrain. Wait, do I not have a floor tag? Like, what? Wait, what is it hitting? Wait a minute. What am I even hitting? Physics. Why do I do the vertical raycast? Hello? What are we colliding with? Box cast down. Ground. Okay, what is ground? Get layer mask, get mask ground. Okay, it's just ground instead of... Okay, I have a ground thing here. I see. Which means that the hitboxes that are under this platform should be tagged ground. Yeah, okay. So this is tagged ground and this is tagged ceiling. Okay, that makes sense. So the platform itself should probably just not have a tag. No, just this objects. I don't need a... I guess I'll tag it terrain here. That's fine. It doesn't really matter. And it doesn't need to have a box collider, so I'm going to remove this. Okay. And then all I'm going to do now is... Why does it still show? Oh, yeah, I want to apply this to the prefab. Hello. Platform. Drag. Fixed. Awesome. Thank you for the free viewers. Appreciate it. Okay. All the platforms are set up like that now. They have layer default, yada, yada, yada. So this is also going to have layer default then. Just this object. It doesn't have a hitbox, but I have a child object underneath it that does. Now this one is going to have layer wall. Is going to be called, I'll just call it hitbox. And now, oh, don't want to move that. I want to move the whole thing. And we can put this wherever the heck. And I can scale it however I want to scale it as well. I can have it like this. Which is probably just what I'm going to do for now. Oh, interesting that it's scaled. Is that to do with the... No, I just set up the hitbox wrong, I guess. Or is it... Oh, it's like off-centered. What the heck? Wait, I swear I didn't... There's no offset on this. Why does it work like that then? That's really strange. I need to pull this down a bit. Which means it now has an offset. And I don't know why, because it should be centered properly, but apparently it isn't. Anyway, that's fine. So we can do that. This is not going to be platform 4 anymore. It's going to be called wall. And let's make the default scale for wall just 1, 1. And I'll turn it into a prefab. Bing. Original prefab. Oh, I put this in the wrong spot. Yeah, that would probably be why. Oh, is this... Oh, this is the... Wait, I just put the sprite in the wrong spot. Oh, I figured that out. Okay. There we go. Fixed. Okay. Last thing is we're going to shrink this wall a bit. And I'm going to align it with the edge of this floor, like so. And then I can align this... I think I can use arrow keys. I can't. Annoying. I can do this though. That'll do. And then 1.29. Wowie. It's ever so slightly off. Down by 1 pixel. And then we can copy, paste, slide this over here. Just put it in the right spot. Like that. Probably slide a little further. Too far. Getting everything in the right position is always really fun stuff. You can see, like, incredible. It's like, can I really be bothered? I don't know, dude. Is it worth it? Who knows? But it's like somewhere in here, right? It's like, how pixel perfect do you want to get? Okay, I really shouldn't, like, demo. It shouldn't matter. Let's stop caring so much for the demo. I'll get it roughly right and just call it a day. Oh, so actually what I'm probably going to need on these floors is they're going to need wall hitboxes as well. Because the player's going to be able to jump into the wall, into the floor here probably. Which is obviously not what we want. But I'll test that in a second. Anyway, so we have this. And I'm going to move these guys just around. I'll have a few of them over here, just being all angry. Maybe these ones will be a little higher up. And I think you can just walk through enemies. In fact, I'm almost certain you can. Alright, and we can run around, we can jump. Wow, would you look at that. We can collide with these walls. Now, like I said, I'm pretty sure we can get inside of... Oh, and then we get inside of the wall entirely. That's interesting. So these, like, floor tiles are gonna need... Yeah, very... Anyway, okay. I know that that's an issue. Like, okay, so this floor is actually a little too high. Except it's not if my jump goes high enough, which again is variable depending on my frame rate. But what I can do is I can use the big jump to get up here. In fact, what I should do probably is like make this be even higher. So I can select all of this and move it all up together. I can make it really high. And then I think you should barely be able to see that platform. We can, and then we can do the big jump to get up here. And then I can zip zap them. If I zap one of these guys, it should zap them all. Okay, interestingly, for the chain lightning looks for the center of the enemies. And maybe I can like offset the sprite instead of offsetting the hitbox. That might be what I want to do instead. Because it's like aiming for the center of the sprite. But I wanted to aim for the center of the like faces. Anyway. What other things do I have? I got the flamethrower. And the wall. Can I use the wall to jump up? Not quite. Close. If I could stack walls on top of walls, I could do that. But I can no longer do that anymore. Alright, I mean, like, look. I kind of, like, got some graphics here now. Albeit very simplistic stuff. So it doesn't look all that good. But hey, graphics nonetheless. I probably should have given those balloons outlines in hindsight. I think if I ever actually bother to make the transparency, I'll probably give them some outlines. I've given everything else in this outlines except for those. It just looks a little weird. But, yeah, cool. I think I'm going to stop for here for today. Yeah, I kind of just ended up doing some graphics. I mean, we tinkered around with a little bit of level stuff, but I could probably do a lot more. For now, this is fine, though. I'm happy. Good enough, as is. And we will... I'm, like, trying to think about how I want this stuff to be set up. Like, if I were to do... Because, again, I don't really want it to be tile-based stuff. I think I might have, like, a sprite that just lays over all the game objects. And then I would create game objects that are the hitboxes and stuff underneath them. Is probably how I'd end up doing it. I've also... There's things, like, if you want to add in, like, ramps and stuff. It's like, okay, well, how do ramps work? Also interesting that my player like snaps in and out if I zoom in. I don't really know why that happens, but interesting. Weird. Yeah, just some Unity editor stuff. But yeah, if I like add ramps and stuff, like handling collisions for ramps is like gonna be interesting. I don't know if I'm going to put ramps in. I might just not have ramps at all. A lot of 2D platformers just don't use ramps. But if you do add ramps, then obviously you need to account for that. Usually it involves like pushing the player up as they're walking in the direction or moving them down, either way. So that they like snap to the ramp. But we can look at that in the future if I want. Okay, so I might continue along with some of this stuff tomorrow. Trying to think of like what else I'd like to do. I don't know, I'll think about it. I'm back to work. as of tomorrow. Hooray. And by hooray, I mean, damn it, where did my 2 weeks go? So I'll be a lot more busy. We'll see. I'm hoping that I stick to the dailies more or less. It's possible I miss tomorrow's one, but I should definitely be on Tuesday, if not tomorrow. But I'll see. I'm gonna kind of like get a feel for how I want to fit dailies into just my weekly work schedule. But I mean, I'm gonna aim to get them around the same time. Whether or not they'll all be over an hour is questionable, because I might just feel like some nights I only want to do an hour. I mean, my target's to get each daily to be an hour long minimum, which has been the case so far. And like today's one's gone for like an hour and 40. But I probably don't really see myself streaming for like sessions that are longer than 2 hours. It'll probably be like an hour to an hour and a half on a typical daily. And then maybe if I'm feeling really into doing whatever I'm doing, I'd stretch more towards 2 hours. But I think I'm always going to hard cut off at 2, just because otherwise it'll take up way too much time in my day. But yes, thanks yet again, everyone who stopped by for tuning in. Yeah, we'll keep it up. I'll catch you all next time, and have a good one.